it's starting.
That's gonna be on the video now.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys see this all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
We are going to be presenting to you about ABC Genius. So you guys are parents, right?
Yes.
Okay. How old?
3.
3?
and a half.
Okay. 3 and a half.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're actually going to be presenting on an app called ABC Genius, and it's for kids from 3 to 5-ish preschool age. So just give you more information and statistics about that.
So yeah, should we start?
Yeah. Oh, I'm Lauren Chrisman.
I'm Jennifer Schwartz.
Okay, the first question is, what do you know about young children using technology?
I know that a lot of kids play with their parents' phones and computers, and a lot of students at schools get their own computers and tablets now, so that's about it.
Do you have anything to add?
Well, I work in an elementary school as a special education assistant, and we use iPads a lot for our kids.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, we'll just be talking to you more about
children using technology and specific apps that you can use to help enhance their cognitive development. So, yeah.
Ready to go?
So here are some statistics that we found, just general statistics about young children using technology and apps that are available to download.
So the first two are Joan Gann's Cooney Center at Sesame Workshop, and the author of the report, Pockets of Potential, estimated that almost 20% of children aged 5 to 7 use a cell phone. That was really interesting to me. And then there are currently over 20,000 learning apps and educational apps available for the iPad. So.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, 20,000. Yeah. And then our last two statistics are more than 80% of the best-selling paid apps in the iTunes Store's education category targeted young children. So young children being like 3 to 5 or even younger up to age 5. And then a last statistic that we found is that a recent study done by PBS Kids found that children aged 3 to 7 who played an educational app showed an improvement on 31% on their vocabulary.
And we had a little handout to give you guys more about like statistics and just kind of a summary of our presentation, just to remember it by and think about when you're doing educational apps.
Yep.
So we are actually going to talk about our research articles next. And we included these in here just as
to sort of help support our argument for the use of technology. It's always better when you can have some research-based evidence showing that it's successful. So,
do you want to do the first one?
Yeah, so I can do the first one. The first article we found was about promoting preschoolers' alphabet recognition. So the study was done on 2 preschoolers who had been diagnosed as struggling readers and diagnosed with ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And they volunteered to participate in tutoring sessions over the course of the semester. The researchers worked with each student individually on a weekly basis using iPad software applications such as ABC Matching Game, ABC Learn, ABC Tracing, and ABC GoGo, etc. The study used basic reading inventory as an informal assessment for both pre-test and post-test. Observational notes and interviews were also completed. The results of the pretest showed that both students could correctly identify 10 uppercase and lowercase alphabetical letters and 4 letter sounds. By the end of the semester, both students were able to recognize the 26 letters and 24 letter sounds. And we thought this article was important because the app we're going to show you a little bit later is basically what this article talks about. It's letter tracing, letter recognition, letter sounds.
And it was really beneficial just because it showed such a difference in the children's abilities of like what they learned and how they performed better.
Yeah.
And then the second article was using the children's tablet and computer use in like an educational room. So it was the primary goal of the study was to explore the relationship between a user's engagement with tablet computers and users' cognitive load. Using theories and methodologies from communications, studies, and cognitive psychology. The research from this experiment showed that children's use of tablet computers and laptops offered children challenging cognitive experiences that enhanced their learning. So this article was just about like whether to see if the iPad was being like a distractor or actually useful in the classroom, and they actually found that it was being very useful in the classroom. So when you're thinking about like iPad use in like your future child, like your child's future classroom, what do you think about that? Do you think it would be positive, or do you think it would be
like distracting or?
I think if it was set up correctly where they couldn't just play like any app or go on the internet or anything on the iPad, it has security settings that would definitely be useful, positive.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there any like security settings or anything from your classroom that you work in right now?
Yeah, they have specific apps on the iPad only that the kids can choose from, and there's a security password for the apps that can be downloaded, so that only teachers can do that.
Oh.
Do you find that they ever get distracted by using an iPad, or do you feel like they can really focus on it?
I think for some kids it's really helpful. I think others can get distracted if they're on it for too long, but I think most of the time that it's really helpful.
Definitely.
That's great. Great information.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is talking about the app ABC Genius.
I'll go get the app to show them.
Yeah, I have my phone. So we're actually going to show you how to use the app, and we're actually going to talk about what is included in the app. So
just some basics about the app. It has letter tracing and matching games and drawing lines to complete actions. So for letter tracing, it shows you a letter, and it just helps guide children who have little fingers and stuff to trace the letters. They also have fun games to help children recognize uppercase and lowercase letters, which is important for entering kindergarten. They have matching games, which they just help match letters to words. So like words that have the first letter of the word, they correspond. And then they have a game that you draw lines to complete the action. So kids are asked to draw lines to connect the related items, such as big and small letters.
Okay, and so the next activities are ABC Phonics, so fun games to help your little one learn how to correctly identify pictures and letters by sound. So just having that sound and correctly identifying the letter. And then fill in the missing letter, fun games to help your little one spot the missing letter for the simple words. And then which item does not belong, fun games helping your little one to spot which item does not belong to a given letter, so it really helps with their sense of learning what the sound of each letter connects to the words. And then puzzles and mazes, fun games and mazes to reinforce the learning and help little ones become familiar with all of the letters from A to Z, which is really important. So next we are going to introduce some screenshots that we got of the actual app.
Yep, so as you can see for the letter tracing, they sort of map out which way to trace it. So they have like an ant. So for the letter A, they have an ant, which obviously begins with the letter A, and that's how it is for each letter.
And then the apple going down.
Yeah, you trace the apples. And
Use the mouse.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's okay. Sorry, little technical difficulties. The mouse isn't
also important to learn how to deal with technical difficulties when working with children and technology. And then
that was the drawing the line to the correct corresponding letter sound, or so apple, A, astronaut. And that would actually be like the screen that comes up when you first enter the app. So that's a section of one of the
so you can choose if you want to do all the letters or if you want to work on a specific letter, you can choose.
And then some of these, I forgot to mention, some of these activities that were mentioned before are actually only available if you pay the...
it's like $1.99 for the full unlocked
version. So there's only probably like 3 or 4 maybe 5 options to choose from for the activities on the unpaid app, which is still quite a lot.
Yes.
So. I think next we are going to actually show you how to work the app. So first you would go in, have my password, and then, I have to turn it off. That's silent. And then we would go through like, so here's like the main menu, and it would be like A is for, and you would press continue.
L is for.
L is for, and then you would choose whichever one, and it would say that out loud and correct it.
N is for.
So if you
N
do
is for.
keys, it repeats the question and it disappears the next thing. So, which is nice. It's not saying that it's like necessarily wrong. Obviously it is, but it's just kind of like leading them to the right question or answer. So then you press the home key, and then here are the letter tracing.
K.
Oh, never mind, not the letter tracing. Those are letter identification. So you would
K.
press on the letter that it's
Good
saying.
work.
And then the letter tracing would be up here. These are capital
Trace
letters.
the I.
So it has an infant and then little insects. So you would have to go down and trace it. So if you guys want to spend some time,
yeah, you can just
working
spend a
with
couple
that.
minutes playing around with it and figuring
and
out
if you
how
have
it
any
works.
questions,
Mm-hmm.
if you have any questions about it, let us know.
Apple. You did it. B is for.
Do you think this is something that your
bird.
child would be able to use?
C is for.
Yeah, I think so. She recognized a lot of the animals and other things, so I think she'll be able to help her learn the letters that actually go with them.
Cat.
Seems
Good
useful.
work. D is for.
Do you think that
Dog.
for fine motor skills it would be hard for her to trace the letters, or do you think that she'd be able to do that?
I think with time
Trace the
and
N.
practice, she'd be able to get it. Some of the little movements might be difficult, but
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think she'd be able to
Trace
get it.
the
Yeah,
B.
you can do the beat.
I honestly think it's a little fun. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a good stress reliever, just tracing letters.
She can't do the
Great
beat.
job.
And I love that it has that encouragement afterwards once you've gotten it right, just because kids just feed off of that encouragement.
Trace
Yeah.
the D.
It's very interactive.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Trace.
So yeah, it gives a lot of positive reinforcement, which is important, and it's self-correcting too. So
Draw lines joining the sound in the middle to the pictures that begin with the same sound. Great job.
Good job.
Awesome.
So do you guys use any apps right now for your child? Or
We use a couple. Yeah, we got a couple matching games and some with some animals where you just kind of look at it and it says the name of the animal, so she's starting to learn her animals and things like that.
so she's familiar with using like apps before. This wouldn't be anything like
Yeah.
super unfamiliar to
No,
her.
she's used our phones before. Sometimes she'll hit the home button and exit the app by accident, but other than that, she's usually pretty good about it.
do you find that she's able to keep her attention for it, or does she tend to switch from things very quickly?
It usually depends on her mood. Sometimes, yeah, she's pretty good about just kind of sitting there and she can just play with it, like in the car. To get distracted in the car, or if we're at like a restaurant, we need to distract her for a few minutes until the food gets there. It's usually pretty good. So
That's good.
for the most part, she's good.
And this is great just because you don't have to do it for like hours and hours. You could work on like one simple thing for like 5 minutes and then just be done and work consecutively. So
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple, I guess, quiz questions you could say. This one's a little open-ended, and you can just draw on your, previous knowledge and stuff that you've also learned from our presentation to answer. So, why or why not do you think it's important for your child to use educational apps?
It's good for them to learn different things, kind of hold their attention, and get them familiar with technologies, just since these day and age, everything's technology based.
Mhm.
So, I mean, with the matching one is good for her, and then like one we have where she's learning animals, it's really helped her learn animals.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, it's good for their cognitive development.
It is very much so.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
I think it also helps for when they get into school and they're also using more technology.
Mhm.
They already have like the basis of how to use certain things that they have to use later on.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you see it as like something that your child is going to be like reliant on? Like a lot of kids, like in our statistics, have cell phones by like age 5 to 7. Like, do you see your kid having that technology that early? Like, since we're working with iPads, obviously it's okay for them to have an iPad. Do you see them progressing to being like reliant on a phone or anything like that?
I think a phone's different just because it can be useful in the sense of emergencies, making calls, but if it was a smartphone, it could easily be a distraction, whereas it might not be locked, but they can only use certain apps. They'll have the freedom since it's theirs to use it, so it could be distracting. So that might be something that's delayed a little bit longer until she's older.
Yeah, and the beauty of being able to expose a young child to using, technology that's restricted is that they can learn how to do it and learn, what, the appropriate ways to use technology.
And the way that you want them to
Right.
learn it. Like,
Right.
they think they have some freedom, but you're really kind of like controlling their amount of freedom. So,
Definitely.
yeah. Okay. And then our next thing was to test you on the app. Just one question. We just want to see if you can find your way through the app since you explored it a little bit. And can you get to the letter tracing app page by yourself and show us? Just either the lowercase or uppercase.
Trace the A.
Wow, you
Wow.
did it.
That's good job.
You've been paying attention. I know this app was pretty easy to go through, but for a little kid it might not be as easy. So you might need to learn how to get there for what she wants to do. So if she's like, letter tracing, and you're like, I don't know what that is.
All right.
So do you have
any
any
questions?
Yeah. So you said part of it was a paid app. So do you think other paid apps are more beneficial just because you have to pay for them, so they might have more to them, or?
Yeah, so I mean, there's sort of two ways that paid apps go. There are some apps that you do pay for and that are better in the sense that they have, more to them and stuff.
Or more research based.
More research based. And then there's other paid apps like this one that we showed you that it just has more like different content, not necessarily better. It's just more of the same than what they give you. Most apps have like a free version. So it really depends. With this app, it's more just, it's more of the same, but just different. With other apps, it can be more research-based and better, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know of any other apps that would, I could download to help her learn other things rather than just letters or?
Yeah. So this focused on, literacy-based stuff. There's a few other apps that we've seen that are, Elmo's 1-2-3s, which focuses off of PBS's, apps, and I think it was $1.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was $1, but it focuses on Elmo and Abby, which are Sesame Street characters, counting 1 through 20, and basically guiding them on counting, which focuses on math skills. And then there was one that's shape sorting, which gives you basically a puzzle piece to drag over to each spot to see if they fit into each other, and just working on those, necessary skills.
Yeah, and that's also good for spatial awareness to see, how to predict what spaces fit in. There's also an app called Peekaboo Barn, which helps with animal sounds. It's really simple. You just touch it and an animal comes out and it says the name of the animal and the sound. It's really cute. So it's good for probably your age child because it's good for really young kids.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think there was one more that was matching.
Card matching.
Yeah. Memory card matching.
Yeah, so there's a way to do it's like a memory game where they're flipped over and they don't see it. Then there's a way for them to see all of the cards laid out so that they're not necessarily working on the memory game, but just connecting the two that are alike. So it's really good for their just all around just
Yeah,
skills
it's
for-
good. I mean, memory games are really good for helping the brain develop. So yeah.
I thought I had one more, but I can't remember it right now. So,
Oh.
Wow.
do you have any questions?
No, that I can think of.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
it looks like, we're running out of time, but
Yeah.
if you remember, let us know and we will give you an answer.
Okay.
So thank
Thank
you
you.
for joining us. We hope you found this helpful. All right.
Thank you.